right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to dig into something that's super useful when you're working with SQLite databases, especially when you need to find stuff without having to type out an entire word or phrase.
Exactly. We're talking about the like operator, and it's a real game changer for searching your data.
We're basing this deep dive on some excellent material from plus2net.com. They've put together a guide that's all about practical application, which is perfect, because we love getting our hands dirty.
Plus2Net always delivers with clear explanations and real-world examples. It's what makes their tutorials so effective, especially for those who learn by doing.
Okay, so, what's the big deal?
Think of it like this. You know how you can search for files on your computer using just part of the file name, maybe with a wildcard? LikeKey lets you do that inside your SQLite database.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So instead of an exact match, it's more like looking for a pattern.
You got it. It's all about finding data that's similar to your search term, not just an identical match.
So give me an example. How would I use like in a real query?
Sure, let's say you're looking for a student named John, but you're not sure about the spelling, like if there's an extra H in there somewhere.
Happens all the time, right?
Right. With like, you can write a query like this, and I quote, select from student, where name, like, %John.
Let's unpack that. Select means?
You're asking the database to retrieve information.
Right, from a specific table.
Exactly. In this case, the student table.
And that where part?
That's where you set the condition for your search. You're telling the database to only give you results where the name column matches a certain pattern.
And that pattern, in this case, is any name ending in John.
You got it. And that percentage sign before John, that's our wildcard.
The wildcard. That's the key, right?
It's like saying, hey, database, I don't care what comes before John, just find me anything that ends with it.
So Elton John, John Smith, whatever, they'd all show up.
You got it. It's a powerful way to broaden your search.
That's really cool. It's like way more flexible than just searching for an exact match.
Exactly. And Plus2Net provides another great example. They show how to find names starting with by.
So the wildcard can go on either side of the search term.
Exactly. You can use it to find anything that starts with a certain string, ends with it, or even has it somewhere in the middle.
Okay, now my mind is racing with possibilities.
It's pretty powerful, right?
So finding Smith at the end, by at the beginning. What about finding row anywhere in the name?
Plus2Net has got us covered there too. They demonstrate exactly how to do that. You're basically saying, find me any name that has row somewhere inside it. It's a very open-ended search, but very useful in certain situations.
This is making me realize how much more there is to SQLite than I thought.
It's a surprisingly versatile tool.
So we've covered the basics of like, how it works, and how to use it for some pretty cool searches.
But there's always a but, right?
There's always a but. What's the catch? We'll find out right after the break.
All right, so we're back, and I'm really curious about this, but you mentioned before the break, what's the catch with like?
Well, anytime you're working with databases and user input, you have to be mindful of security.
Okay, that makes sense. So where does like fit into all of this? Well, imagine someone could sneak in malicious code through a search bar that uses like ecit.
Wait, hold on. Someone could hack my database just by typing something into a search bar?
It's definitely possible, and it's called SQL injection. But luckily, Plus2Net has a solution in their guide, parameterized queries.
Parameterized queries, huh? Sounds kind of complicated.
Not really, it's just a fancy way of saying we're adding an extra layer of security. Think of it like this. Instead of directly using the search term in the query, which could be dangerous, we use a placeholder.
A placeholder, like instead of writing the actual value, we write what?
Exactly. We use a special marker that tells the database, hey, there's a value coming, but treat it separately. Plus2Net provides the exact code you can use, so it's super easy to implement.
So even if someone tries to get sneaky with their search terms, it won't affect the actual database because of this placeholder.
Precisely. Parameterized queries help prevent that malicious code from being executed. It's always better to be safe than sorry, right?
Absolutely. Security should always be a top priority. But, okay, back to like for a sec. Plus2Net also mentioned something about underscores. What are those all about?
Ah, yes. Underscores. They're like the percentage sign's more precise cousin. While the percentage sign represents any number of characters, the underscore represents exactly one.
Okay, so it's like a single character wildcard.
You got it. Say you want to find all records where a column starts with phi, like for female. Underscores can help you do that with pinpoint accuracy. Plus2Net gives some great examples of how to use them effectively.
That's super helpful for those times when you need that extra precision.
And on top of all that, the SQLite also lets you be specific about case sensitivity. Do you want to differentiate between uppercase and lowercase letters or not?
Wait, you can choose. I thought case sensitivity was just like a default setting in databases.
Not in SQLite. Plus 2net explains how to turn case sensitivity on or off using the command pre-pragmo case sensitive like.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. It's like having a customization menu for your searches. I'm really seeing the versatility of like now. Squay is full of surprises. Who knew you could customize your searches so much? It's like having a toolbox full of options.
Exactly. And plus 2net did a great job of showing us how it's done. But, it's one thing to talk about these techniques, it's another to actually use them.
Totally. Seeing these light queries in action with real data, that's when it really clicks.
Absolutely. Think about it. Let's say you've got a database with customer orders, and you only remember part of a product code.
Been there. So frustrating.
Right. But with like, you can find those orders in a snap.
Or imagine you're analyzing sales data and want to spot trends for products with summer in the name.
You got it. I can handle that, no problem.
This is definitely eye-opening. Like, it's so much more powerful than I realize.
It's all about working smarter, not harder. And like helps you do just that.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into SQLite queries, what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
Don't be afraid to get creative with your like queries. With a little ingenuity and what we've covered today, you can unlock a whole new level of data analysis.
It's been a fascinating deep dive today. A huge thanks to Plus2Net for that incredible guide. We'll be sure to link to it in our show notes so you can explore LKE queries further. Until next time, happy searching, everyone.